Hey guys, it's just me, Dan. So we are doing a recording. Just make sure your mics are off. If they are on, make sure you just joined in, guys. Make sure you mute your microphones, guys. So it should just be mine. Cool. Okay, right. We're going to get straight into it. I need to be relatively concise with this one. So, creating a calorie deficit. How do we create one? So we're talking about kind of dieting or losing fat, or gaining muscle, and we talked about calories. So calories are the most important part that we need to get right to get fat loss, basically, to work. How do I minimize this? Cool. So if you eat less energy than you expend, you will lose weight, you'll lose fat. That is it. There's no sort of kind of special kind of thing to, or you can't just eat clean food and you'll lose fat. You can't just drink shakes and think that you'll lose fat. There's no special thing. It is just about an energy balance. It is as simple as that. You ingest less energy than you expend, and you will lose fat. Okay. So let's look at So this is about losing weight, same activity, lower intake. So how to create? So this is one of the methodologies that we can use to lose weight. Is we just work out what your maintenance calories are, and then we drop around about 500 calories a day, which is a reasonable amount to drop. It's not too heavy. It's not too hard. And you can see here, for example, this would be absolutely perfect if we could get people like this. So just being real consistent, 2,000 every day, eating relatively similar stuff. That would be the ideal situation, really. But it's a 500 calorie deficit is a reasonable amount to put somebody in. It drops. Their deficit comes from 7 lots of 500, about 3,500 calories, and that should equate to about a pound of body fat. So there's your 500 calorie deficit, okay? And then the total amount of calories that you ingest over the course of the week would be 14,000. A bit of background noise here, guys. Apologies for that. So calories out, bigger than calories in, which is a deficit, equals 3,500 calories or 1 pound of fat. Straightforward stuff. The amount of people who don't believe this is unreal. Okay, so basically, if you factor in activity now, so if you factor in extra activity, you can basically see here, it says, so maintain.
I don't mind, I'm half listening to this, but you can put it on.
Guys, mute your thing, please. Make sure it's muted. Guys, make sure your mics are muted. We don't want to hear background noise, please. There's enough going on in the background here, which is very, very frustrating. But basically, here we were talking about maintaining weight would be with the extra activity would be 2,750 calories there, and then so to lose weight, you pop it down to 2,500 calories. There was the previous slide said 2,000. So. Oh man, that's really off-putting. Apologies for this, guys. Okay. So now we're looking lower intake and higher activity. So we're creating a 750 calorie deficit per day. That is classed as a relatively aggressive, really. It's not a moderate, but it can be done for certain populations and certain people. This is kind of how I would do it. I do my own diet because I eat relatively similar stuff like this here. So I can go a bit harder at it. But most people at the beginning definitely can't do this. They can't go too harsh on their intake and then increase their activity. What is that noise? Oh, it's really bad. But it will yield 1.5 pounds of fat loss a week. And this is kind of what people try to do all the time, but they actually go a bit harsher at it normally. And then that's why they fail, because by Wednesday, Thursday, they kind of eat their arm off hungry. Okay, so how do we burn calories? So where we get our calories from, it all comes from diet and liquid. So liquid is classed as diet. So 100% of the calories that you ingest all comes from what you eat or drink. However, where it's expended is slightly different to what you think. So activity, digestion, and BMR. BMR is your basal metabolic rate, the amount of calories that your body expends from just being, from just living, effectively. So how your internal organs functioning, your heart beating, etc., breathing, all that kind of stuff. Activity only comes in 30%. So BMR is most, activity 30%, and then obviously digestion is 10%. So how would it look if you're gaining weight? All right, still the same, but you've got a calorie surplus. So that is it. There's no secret to fat gain, like there is no secret to fat loss. It's the same, just reversed. How does losing weight look? So put yourself in a 500 deficit and you will lose weight. Pretty straightforward stuff, guys. Pretty straightforward. So how much does exercise impact? So you can see here on a sedentary person, that NEAT, so NEAT is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, your movement, how much you move in a day. That will account for 17%, 8% on digestion, and then your BMR is more calorie expenditure for the sedentary person. And an active person, NEAT goes up, and then you have exercise is 12%, and it takes out of that BMR. So exercise does have an impact, but it's not as big as people think. It isn't a great big amount. Like lots of people think, everybody train, exercise. Actually, this is where you're going to get more bang for your buck, and it's a lot easier to recover from than training. Okay, calorie requirements and needs. Why are we all different? So this is what's really important, guys. You need to eat to calorie needs and requirements. Going too harsh on a diet often ends with binging, and then it just completely misses the point. So here you can see calorie expenditure in an active exerciser. The BMR, NEAT.
Oh, finally.
Guys, please mute your mics.
I think I might have.
So active exercise, yeah. So you've got BMR is for the most part. NEAT, exercise and digestion at the top there, which is like not that much. Exercise, the calorie expenditure comes predominantly from BMR, NEAT, and then exercise and digestion. So come on. Okay, so non-active exercise, somebody who doesn't move as much, they are going to need less calories than somebody who actively exercises and then needs higher. So you can see they are active because they move around more and they exercise, right? So therefore they get more, they burn more calories, therefore they require more calories. It's really hard to get that through to people. Okay, non-active, non-exerciser, they are going to still have a minimal amount of NEAT. Still not on mute, guys. Non-active, non-exercise, that they are going to require even less calories than these two. And then you take a yo-yo dieter. A yo-yo dieter is somebody who's not going to be very active at all, or they're not going to get. So they're not actually going to need anywhere near as much calories. Yo-yo diets is often binging. So why are we all different? This is why. This is the only thing that you need to really care about. Whereas everybody comes up with excuses like genetics, or they'll say that person's different to me. Well, actually, the things that are different are how much they move around. This is the big thing. Exercise obviously makes a big difference between these two here and these two here. That makes a big amount of calorie expenditure difference. But your NEAT, look at the amount of calories that you're going to get or going to require. And this is what people do not get. They really can't get their heads around the fact that if you move more, you get more calories. And that is it. That's just how the body works. So that actually brings us on to NEAT, which I'm not going to discuss today. I might do that later on in the week. That was actually a bit of a naff presentation because I had this really strange background noise the whole time. It's completely stopped now, typically right towards the end. So all I'm going to do now is just open up to questions, guys. So, there's some really interesting points in there about this one. There's some really interesting things in there where we say about, the amount of calories that are required, the amount, why you've got to eat to your calorie needs. And if you're not in control, if somebody's not in control of their diet, they're always wanting to eat crap food. They've always got that desire. They say that they're addicted to sugar. They always snack on sugary foods, or a lot of it is because they are frightened to eat enough food. And what happens is they kind of get it flipped around the wrong way. They say that they are eating yay amount of calories, but they're not. And they think going harder at a diet, so eating less food than their minimum requirements for fat loss, they think that that's the way to go because they feel bad, or they're having a good day or a bad day, whatever. And it just is completely the wrong way to do things. The best fat loss clients that we've ever had or ever have are the ones who eat to their calorie requirements. We already give them fat loss calories to begin with. But the problem is if that person gains a pound in the first 2 weeks, they instantly lose trust in you. They might lose trust in you straight away when you tell them a calorie requirement that is higher than their kind of perception of what they think that they need. So they automatically do that. But it doesn't make sense for somebody to go really hard at the beginning because you haven't got anywhere to go. It's always better to say, okay, I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to work on the things that need work, which is meal timings, frequencies. They're important for your appetite, learning to have adequate protein. Loads of people take so long to get into good habits of protein. Fiber intake, people don't refuse to eat vegetables and all this kind of stuff. And that's the kind of things that if you focus on the main stuff, the calorie requirements, because we always just bring them down. So if it's like going to take 2 weeks to get into really, really good habits, and you're not hungry and you're feeling good and you're training well, you're feeling fresh in the gym, you're sleeping better, well, then you're laughing. Because then we can say, right, well, fat loss isn't happening. Then we can just drop the calories or increase your NEAT. And people don't buy into that. They don't trust the process. And that's what's really, really important. So it was a very short one, guys. So if you have any questions, can you ask questions? Is it allowing you? Chat. So if you've got any questions, guys, on calorie requirements and needs and why you should eat adequate calories, let me know. Like why, if you feel there's anything that you didn't understand about NEAT, so non-exercise activity thermogenesis, that's coming in the next presentation, which I might do later on this week. But it's if that's it, guys, if you haven't got any questions at all, then I will obviously end it. It's very short and sweet, this one. Who have we got? Cheryl, Kay, Louise, Megan, Mo, Nikki, Lee. Anybody else? Any questions at all, guys? Any questions at all? None? Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, look, it was very short and sweet. So if you want me to do another one, I will do one later in the week. If you've got any questions, obviously you know where I am. I'm happy to answer questions wherever possible. But in the meantime, thanks for those of you tuned in, and I will catch you soon. Oh, hang on. No, Lee. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers, Andy. Yeah, again, guys, sorry for the quality. It was a bit of a haphazard one today. I was kind of really thrown by the background noise. It's a bit strange, actually. And also the way the presentation's done, it pops up and it kind of throws me a little bit. So I might have to edit that because I sort of was like a bit all over the place. Fine. Okay, guys, I shall speak to you later.